Hey y'all, it's your Missniecytv, and I'm here to do a review for Zatima Season 4, Episode 9. The episode picks up, and Lori's still trying to fight Belinda after what Belinda told her about Nathan and her sleeping together during their separation. And Zach is like, remember what we learned in anger management. Don't let other people affect your emotions. Zach, you're very true, and I'm glad that you're learning something in anger management, and you can apply that to your life, and Lori can apply that to her life. But as of right now, I really want her to beat Belinda up. But then Lori called her a hoe, and Belinda's like, I'm not a hoe, and everybody started laughing. Like, girl, you know what you are. You just don't want it. But what got everybody in the room is when she had to understand that she respects the institution of marriage. Belinda, you and everybody else in that room knows that you don't respect none. No, that's a lie. You love being everybody else's second option because you feel like you'll never be chosen first, so you settled for the second. I'm so proud of Nate right now, and he showed a lot of maturity in this conversation that he had with Lori. He's like, look, our marriage isn't working right now. I think we should get a divorce. We're not good for each other. What I did with Belinda was a mistake. Belinda's like, I was a mistake. Well, what is it going to take for you to realize you're going to be anything to a man as long as they get what they want from you? And what Nate wanted from you was a place to stay, and you got it. Nate says, I've seen what a healthy relationship looks like, and ours isn't that right. Angela turns to Fatima in the corner, and she's like, he's talking about y'all. And I'm like, baby, Nate, if you know what it took to get there, they still have some flaws in the relationship sometimes with communication, but it took a lot for them to get there. And I think if you and Lori could actually work on your relationship, y'all could. Lori's like, do you think we'll ever work it out? Belinda has the nerve to open her mouth and say there's nothing to work out. Baby, you just want to choose you so bad, but it turns out that he doesn't choose you at all. Finally, he decides to be honest with himself and everyone around him and say that I need to be single for once and I actually need to go to therapy and work on myself. And I'm like, Nate, finally you're deciding to grow up. Belinda's like, maybe we could be friends in the future. And I'm like, Nate doesn't want to be friends with you, Belinda. If anything, he probably would want to try to sleep with you again, but actually, being your genuine friend is not going. So Belinda decides to leave after realizing that Nate is not going to choose her at all, so she tries to make her presence known, like she's making it obvious that she's leaving, hoping that Nate would change his mind, but he doesn't change his mind. So she just leaves. Zach is congratulating Nate on being very mature and having that mature conversation. Zach is like, I just wish he didn't do it in my house. Nate was like, I wasn't trying to be harmed to anyone. Nate was doing so well until he said, let's talk about the strippers at your bachelor party. And Fatima's like, what, strippers? And Zach is looking at him and he slapped him. Like, why would you say that? Tony's like, I'm gonna go check on Lori, so he leaves to go check on Lori, and then that's when Zach gets the call, and Fatima's like, how convenient. Call is from Connie, and Connie's basically telling Zach that Jeremiah OD'd, and he's in the hospital, and he's in very bad shape, and Zach is like, I appreciate you calling me, but that's not none of my concern. That's a him problem. I honestly feel like Connie was trying to pull a guilt trip here by saying that if your mother wasn't alive, she would want y'all to act like this. Zach is basically like, my mother's not here anymore, and he's the reason why. And I'm glad that Zach actually stood up for himself, because I hate when people try to guilt trip other people. Like, that's your brother, or that's your certain family member, and you shouldn't act. People need to realize that titles are just titles. They don't hold any weight if you don't add weight to them. If you don't show love and kindness and respect and genuine care for the person, those titles don't. Zach basically had to tell her, I'm celebrating my family right now, and Jeremiah is no longer a part of it, so he's not my concern. Zach even had to tell Connie, don't let Jeremiah bring you down, because even though Connie's going through a lot, she likes to carry other people's burdens. And Jeremiah is a burden that you just can't carry. Connie lets Zach know that she needs to talk to him and Fatima soon. And Zach is like, what's wrong? And Connie is like, nothing. I'll just tell you when I see you. It's like, you better be prepared for what Connie has to tell you, because it's not good. I feel very bad for Zach, because once Connie tells him the news about everything that's going on with her, he's going to feel like he's losing another mother. Or at least another mother figure that he thought he had. Even though him and Connie are exes and they're now just friends and they grew up as family, Connie was that maternal figure sometimes to Zach. After Zach gets off the phone with Connie, he lets everybody know what's going on, and Andrew's like, well, is he okay? Zach is like, he's actually in the hospital. He's banged up pretty bad. Fatima's like, so you don't want to get involved? Zach is like, no, everything that's going on with my family right now is a priority. And I'm glad that Fatima didn't try to push the issue like, you should go see what's wrong with him or anything like that. I'm glad that she's allowing Zach to stand firm in his decision not to mess with Jeremiah anymore. When he comes back in from talking to Lori, and he lets Nate know that Lori wants to burn all his clothes and stuff, so he runs out like, Angela's like, now that that's over, can we get back to this whole stripper situation? And that's when she gets a call from Sean about their date, so she leaves, and she tells Fatima that she can handle it. And Fatima's like, I will. So she looks at Zach, and Zach is like, don't look at me, it was Tony. So that's when Fatima grabs Tony's ear and brings him down to the ground. And she's like, I thought it would be Nate, not you. Honestly, I feel like Nate was the one that actually called the strippers, but he just coerced Tony into saying that it was him. Right, Angela, so we see her coming in the house, and she's checking her mail, and she goes through all her mail, and she gets this box. And apparently she ordered that weight loss drug that Stephanie told her about. I knew that she was considering it when she had that moment in the mirror in the break room, and she was looking at her body. I feel like she feels like she'll get more men this way, and men will accept her more if she's skinnier, not realizing that there's men out there that will love her just the way she is. That's when Sean shows up to the door, and she's basically trying to get down to business with him, and he's like, no, I'm actually here to take you on a real date. Andrew's like, you really want to know me for me? Sean's like, yeah, I really want to chill out on the whole getting down to business thing. Angela has some true insecurities that she needs to work through, so Sean convinces her to go out on a date, but she tells him that she left her purse in the house, so she goes back in the house and gets it. But turns out she just wanted to do another injection. Angela did not check the instruction to see how many injections that she could take a day. I think it would just only be one, but she's trying to do 3 and 4 a day. This is really going to have some bad side effects on her. Over at the hospital, we see Jeremiah, and it's time for him to get discharged, and the doctor tells him that it's time for him to get discharged. He's like, I don't want to go. I won't make it out there. I'll use again. At least he's being honest with himself. But the doctor had to tell him, we can't keep you here. It's only for physically sick people, and you're not physically sick. Plus, you don't have insurance. And Jeremiah's still trying to plead his case that he's not going to be okay out there, and he's going to use again. Then that's when he gets a little irate, and he grabs the doctor. The doctor calls for security. The security drags him out, and I'm like, at least he was honest with himself, and he knew that he was going to use again. And the only place he feels safe is in the hospital because he has no access to drugs. The doctor even mentioned Connie when he was like, I don't have a phone to call my caseworker, because the doctor's like, if you want to get into rehab, you need to call your caseworker. Now it's time for the date, and Sean takes Angela to Billy Jake's, and she's having a whole fit because she's like, I thought you was going to take me to somewhere exclusive, and I've been here before. You just baited me. Angela's like, I thought you were saying that you were going to take me to a place that needs reservations, and Sean is like, well, it did need reservations. Angela's like, no, it doesn't. It's like, come on and just let me show you. So they go inside, and they have a private dinner set up for them, and Angela has a change of heart. And I'm like, Angela, this is what you get for bringing them crazy. They sit down and they start talking, and the waiter comes out with an expensive bottle of wine, and Angela, of course, has a problem with it, and she wants to start an issue. And Sean realizes that. He's basically reading her, and he's telling her that you're just using this as a defense mechanism. And Angela's whole problem is she doesn't think nobody sees her outside of a sexual being. She doesn't feel like nobody genuinely wants to know her for her. So that's why she tries to cover everything up with sex, and it's not going to work. You're going to have to eventually let somebody in somehow. So they toast to new beginnings, and I'm like, I don't know if Sean will be the person for Angela, but at least this could be a good start to show her that somebody would really want to know her. Back over at Zach and Fatima, Zach just got done cleaning the house, and Fatima's just sitting there on the couch just watching him, and she's like, Zach, you're doing a good job. Zach is taken aback by it, and he's like, what you mean? Fatima's like, you're just being the man that I knew you could be. And Zach is like, well, thank you. And they start talking about food and what she wants to eat, and he gives Fatima all these options, and she's like, I don't know, whatever you want to eat. Fatima's just like me when it comes to food options. Give me too many, I can't. They end up ordering dinner, and they're waiting for it to come. Over at Connie's, we see Connie sleeping on the couch, and her kitchen's on fire, and she wakes up because she's coughing. She's looking for her kids, and she's frantic. The kids are nowhere to be found, so she's struggling to get out the house, and she finally makes it outside, and she just calling for her kids, yelling, screaming, crying. I'm glad she was able to get out safely, but my whole thing is, you saw everybody and their mama outside, police officers, firefighters. Why didn't you ask them, did you see 2 little kids come outside? Are the 2 little kids safe or anything like that? Connie's honestly been going through too much, and my heart just breaks for her. Back over at Zach and Fatima's, the food has officially arrived, so Fatima's telling Zach that the food is here, but he's upstairs taking a shower because all that cleaning that he did. So she tries to go outside and get the food herself, but then that's when she hears Deja fighting Leslie. Leslie apparently knocked out the delivery driver and pretended to be the delivery driver herself to deliver the food. but Deja caught her and apparently her, and they ended up fighting, and that's when Fatima comes outside, and Deja's like, I tried to get her, but she kicked me in the stomach, and you should tell Zach what's going on, and Fatima's like, I can't tell Zach yet, I gotta figure this out on my own. So Deja's like, you have me do all this just for you to do nothing? Apparently Fatima and Deja are working together to take down Leslie. And I'm like, when did this happen? We didn't see a conversation about this at all. But I feel like this will be a duo that we didn't know we needed. I'm glad that Fatima and Deja have finally put their differences aside to have a common ground and work. So Fatima goes back in the house, Zach comes downstairs, she tells him that the food is all smashed and whatever. He's like, I'm gonna get my money back, and I'm like, I know that, Zach, right? If the delivery driver gets my food wrong, I'm definitely requesting a refund. What do you do? They enjoy the rest of the night by watching a movie, and I'm like, Fatima, you really need to let Zach know what's going on with Leslie because she's showing up to your house now, putting you, Zach, and the baby in. But let me know what you guys think about this episode. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications. Bye!